everybody, welcome to another video by Liminal Spaces Talks Music. So today we're talking about the Talking Heads, specifically the album The Fear of Music. Just a quick little bit of background on the Talking Heads. They originally formed in 1975 in New York. It was just 3 people at that time. David Byrne, Chris Frantz, and Tina Weymouth. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing those names. And then later in 77, right before their first album came out, Jerry Harrison joined the band as the keyboard player and the guitarist. And Jerry Harrison, of course, is a member of the band The Modern Lovers. And we are definitely going to talk about that band at some point in time on this channel because they're fantastic. So their first album came out in 77. It was called 77. Second album, More Songs About Buildings and Food, came out in 78. And then on August 3rd, 1979, we get Fear of Music. And this album is insanely good. I know that there's a lot of debate about what the best Talking Heads album is, and I feel like there's 2 very distinct camps. There's Fear of Music back, and then Remain in Light forward. There is such a dramatic change in this band between 1979 and 1980. And it's weird because it actually starts in the recording session for Fear of Music. They did a song called Izimbra, and they brought in like 9 different people, and they put together this sort of world music, funky, chanting song called Izimbra, which, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not a big fan of, because I am a fan of 79 back for the Talking Heads. I like the early stuff. And this was a massive indication of the direction that they were going to go in for Remain in Light and Speaking in Tongues. And those albums are incredible. You know, don't get me wrong. I love the Talking Heads. I love all that stuff. But for me, having 12 musicians mess around in a studio and produce this really kind of crazy, interesting, cool stuff is not as great as the 4 members of the Talking Heads playing songs. If you're looking to get into the Talking Heads, if you just don't know a lot about them but you're interested, I would recommend definitely tracking through Fear of Music. Of course, you should also do Remaining in Light and Speaking in Tongues, in case that's more appealing to you, that kind of world music approach. But for just the Talking Heads by themselves, I would definitely go with Fear of Music first. Also, Fear of Music is more aggressive than the later stuff, just because they're younger, I assume. And that's something I also really appreciate in music. Of course, the album was produced by Brian Eno. He did 3 of their albums for them. He did More Songs About Building and Food, Fear of Music, and Remain in Light. All 3 of the albums are just incredible. Honestly, they truly are. So I'm going to go over a few of the tracks on the album. I don't want to talk about every one because it just gets so repetitive, but there are a few that I really want to point out. First off, the negative one, I hate to say it, but track 1 is Izimbra, and as I was saying, that is really forward-looking for the band. That is really what they're going to become. And because I prefer 79 over 80 for them, I honestly skip this song quite a bit. There's 11 songs on the album, so I feel like skipping that. You can get Mind, Paper, Cities, Life During Wartime, and Memories Can't Wait on side 1, those 5 tunes, and then Air, Heaven, Animals, Electric Guitar, and Drugs on side 2. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. They did re-release the album in like 2002 or 2005. I can't remember exactly when they did it, but they remastered it, and they did include some bonus tracks on the end, mostly studio outtakes and different versions of specific tunes that are on the album. I think it's worth picking up. So on side 1, there's a tune called Cities. I believe it was released as a single. I really, really enjoy the tune. Just the way it flows is really incredible. I also really believe it was the inspiration for David Byrne when he was producing the B-52's Mesopotamia. They have a very similar flow, those 2 tunes, with the fade in and the constantly rotating and moving guitars. They sound really, really good. Cities is an excellent, excellent tune. Of course, Life During Wartime is on side 1, is track 5, and that was probably the biggest hit off the album. It did very well for them. But then you get to Memories Can't Wait. And this is probably the best tune they ever recorded. It is so insanely good. I love this song, especially live. Them doing this tune live is just incredible. And they used to close their 79 shows with Memories Can't Wait right into Psycho Killer. Really excellent, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. And then on side 2, you get Heaven, which is an incredible song, another really beautiful, great tune by them. And I've always been really kind of fond of electric guitars and drugs. I don't know why. Those two songs, I just really, really enjoy them because they're so strange. The lyrics and the music work so well together, and they're just really bizarre, interesting little tunes, and I love them. This album really, truly is a masterpiece, along with a lot of the Talking Heads albums, to be honest with you. But this one, for me, just is the cream of the crop. It is the best. Izimbra is a little bit weird. I skip it, honestly, but every other track on this album is just fantastic. I really, really love it. So, the Talking Heads also released a live album a little bit later, I think it was like 83 or so, called The Name of This Band Is. And it's a compilation album, which is always a little bit difficult for me for live albums, because you hear these amazing soundboard quality recordings, but you don't get the whole show, which always bugs me. But if you pick up the CD version of this release, they've added a bunch of tracks. So for that 1979 show that was recorded in November 17th of 1979, you get Artists Only, Stay Hungry, Air, Love, Building on Fire, Memories Can't Wait, and Heaven. So you actually get 6 tunes from that show. And they also threw on a version of Mind that was recorded in August, a little bit earlier. So it's a more complete picture of what they were doing in 1979. They're not in order, and it's really too bad. I really wish they would have just released the whole show. But it is absolutely worth picking up, because they've also got a lot of stuff from 77 and 78. And then they got a lot of stuff from 1980 and 1981. It's a really neat compilation of live stuff from this period. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like button. And make sure to subscribe, because we have all kinds of great music that we've talked about. And have a great day.